It's nice chatting.
Come on, Elliot.
Can't wait to get these developed.
The Way Home is one episode away from its series finale, and I honestly do not think I am ready. But before we get to the finale on June 21, before we get to Ahead by a Century, and whatever that longer than standard episode has waiting for us, we have to get through this Sunday first. Because Auld Lang Syne is the penultimate episode of this entire show. And based on everything the preview and the photos and the sneak peek are telling us, it is going to be one of the most important hours The Way Home has ever produced. Let me tell you everything we know about episode 9. What Kat and Elliot are walking into in 1925. Why this particular New Year's Eve is the most dangerous night this show has ever sent its characters into. What Alice is witnessing in another time that the Landry and Augustine family's destiny depends on. And what that shocking twist the parade headline teased actually means for everything still unresolved. Because one episode before the finale is when shows like this either give you everything or take everything away. And I honestly think Auld Lang Syne is going to do both. First, let us remember exactly where episode 8 left us. Because everything episode 9 does flows directly from what the cipher revealed. At the end of Tainted Love, Elliot and Kat discovered that the unidentified body from the big explosion at Lingermore might be Tessa's. Meaning, as Elliot put it, he may have just invited his mother to her death. The cipher decoded by Kat and Elliot in episode 8 revealed a song about the explosion. 5 souls went in. 4 came out. Tessa gone. Ennui job botched. And Elliot, the man who promised Tessa he would return on New Year's Eve, the man who has been living in 1925 under a false identity as Tom Buchanan while building a relationship with a mother who kept him at arm's length, is now holding the historical evidence that his presence on that New Year's Eve may not save her. It may be exactly what the history books already recorded, and you cannot change the past. This show has tried again and again, and the past does not bend. Kat and Elliot have to save Tessa. For real this time. And the word real in that sentence carries every ounce of the weight this show has spent 4 seasons building. Because every trip through the pond has been about finding Tessa, understanding Tessa, bringing her home, and now, on the night the cipher says she disappears, Kat and Elliot are going to be standing in a 1925 building in the middle of a bootlegging operation, with Cliff Kane possibly pointing a gun at them, and Al Capone's network somewhere in the background. And Tessa may or may not want to be saved. The official synopsis for episode 9 says New Year's Eve in 1925 brings into focus the Landry and Augustine family's destiny, and Elliot and Kat witness it. In another time, Alice does the same. 2 timelines. Same night. Different decades. The Landry and Augustine family's destiny converging on December 31 from multiple directions simultaneously. And I want to stop on the word destiny, because this show has been very careful about how it uses that word. The pond has reasons. The pond takes you where you need to go. And on the night when everything was always going to happen, Kat and Elliot are there. Alice is somewhere else witnessing the same story from a different angle. And the question is whether witnessing a destiny changes it. The parade exclusive headline for this episode calls it a shocking twist, describing it as Kat and Elliot finally spending New Year's Eve together. But The Way Home reveals a shocking twist. And I want to talk about what that shocking twist might actually be. Because the preview photos from the parade gallery tell us things that the official synopsis is being very careful not to say directly. The photos for episode 9 include Gabriel Hogan, who plays Sam in the present, appearing in what appears to be 1925-era scenes alongside Bianca Melchior, who plays Fern. And I need to stop on that detail completely, because Sam exists in the present timeline. Sam is not a time traveler. We confirmed that explicitly in episode 7 when Sam's origin story was revealed. Casey told him about the future. He did not jump through any pond. There are only 2 possible explanations worth considering. Either Sam is related to someone from the 1920s in a way the show has been quietly building toward all season. Someone whose face we would recognize if we saw it in 1925. Or the show is doing something with physical resemblance across generations that we have not been told to watch for yet. And I honestly think this is the shocking twist. Not just what happens to Tessa on New Year's Eve, but who Sam actually is in the larger mythology of this family and this town. A man who knows about the future because Casey told him, but perhaps also a man whose past goes deeper into Port Haven's history than anyone has asked about yet. The photos also show Kelsey Falconer as Tessa appearing alongside an unidentified character played by Leo Patey. Tessa is on screen, which means she is alive going into this New Year's Eve. Which means the question is not whether she is alive at the beginning of the episode, but whether she is alive at the end of it. And the cipher said Tessa gone, not Tessa dead. And this show has always been very precise about the difference between the two. Dan Janot as Cliff appears alongside Alexander Crowther in the episode photographs. Cliff, the man who held Tessa and Kat and Elliot at gunpoint in episode 8 before Fern stepped in front of the barrel and told them to run. Whatever Cliff's position is going into New Year's Eve, whether he is still trying to arrest the operation or whether Fern's intervention changed something fundamental about where his loyalties sit. His presence in the episode 9 photographs means this is not resolved. Cliff and Tessa and Kat and Elliot in the same building on the same night as a historical explosion. That is not a quiet New Year's Eve. And Fern. Bianca Melchior, who plays Fern, appears prominently in the episode 9 photographs, including alongside Chyler Leigh as Kat. Fern, who told Cliff she was just the messenger. Fern, who stepped in front of a gun for people she loves and people who walked through a pond. Fern, who has been carrying knowledge about Tessa and the pond and Auntie Coop and the Augustine family for her entire life. Whatever happens on New Year's Eve in 1925, Fern is in the middle of it. And I honestly think what this episode does with Fern is going to determine whether everything this season has built around her carries the weight it deserves. Now, Alice. In another time, Alice sees the destiny of the Landry and Augustine families play out in another era as more secrets come to light about Tessa's history. Another era, not 1925, not 1979 or 1980, where Alice has spent most of the season. Another era entirely. And the parade photos show Alice appearing to be in what looks like a New Year's Eve celebration, but not the 1920s version. Young Colton played by Jordan Dowell, young Dell played by Julia Tomasoni, and Devin Sacchetto all appear together in episode 9 photographs alongside Alice, which places Alice in the 1979-1980 time frame again, watching the Landry and Augustine destiny unfold from another decade, seeing the same night from the outside of it, and understanding something about what the pond has been protecting and what it has been waiting to reveal. The episode also includes a sneak peek available on the official Hallmark Channel website, which shows Kat and Elliot together in 1925 on New Year's Eve. Together, not separated. not one of them trying to drag the other back through the pond. Standing side by side on the most dangerous night of this show's entire mythology. And I honestly think that image, Kat and Elliot on New Year's Eve, 1925, having fought across an entire season to be in that moment, is going to land with a weight that no amount of previewing can fully prepare you for. What does the future hold for Alice, and who is Casey? Will Jacob's new romance go the distance? What did Casey tell Sam about the future? Who sent Tessa's letter and engagement ring? What happened to Griffin Landry? These are all questions still waiting for answers, with just 2 episodes remaining. And Auld Lang Syne, the penultimate episode, is where the show begins closing those open threads before the finale seals them. Not all of them. Not yet. But the ones that matter most to the night of December 31, 1925 are about to land. The series finale is titled Ahead by a Century and will be longer than a standard episode. It airs Sunday, June 21 at 9 p.m. on Hallmark Channel. The finale being longer than standard tells us everything about how much the showrunners believe needs to be said before the story ends. The pond always brings surprises. That is the official finale synopsis. And I honestly think whatever surprise the pond has been saving for the last shot of the last episode of this entire 4-season run is going to be the most beautiful and the most painful things The Way Has Home has ever given us. Episode 9, Auld Lang Syne, airs this Sunday, June 14 at 9 p.m. on Hallmark Channel. Stream it the next day on Hallmark Plus. Seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix right now if you are just discovering this show and need to catch up before Sunday. And if you have been watching since the beginning, since the very first pond jump, since the very first time a Landry woman came up gasping from the water into a decade that was not her own, then you already know that the last 2 episodes of this show are going to ask something of you. And I honestly think they are going to be worth every single thing they ask. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Kat and Elliot can save Tessa from the explosion? And what do you think Gabriel Hogan being photographed in what appears to be the 1925 timeline actually means? Because after everything episode 8 revealed, I honestly think the shocking twist Parade is teasing is connected to Sam's past in a way none of us saw coming. And I cannot wait to find out if I am right.